Hello? How much did you want to invest? $2 million? Sure, you got it. I'll give you my wiring instructions. Thank you. That's how we do it. Guys, I want to tell you a story about a deal that we bought in New Prague that I thought I'm going to lose my shirt on, but we're actually making $30,000 a month in cash flow from it. We bought it for $200,000. Let me tell you how it's done. New Prague, Minnesota is a small community, about 10,000 people live there. Until then, we've never bought anything in a town of 10,000 people. Most of the properties we've purchased were in larger cities. We learned from this experience how to work with the communities. You have to get involved with Chamber of Commerce, with city folks, because they can provide a lot of help and support in making your project be successful. What's unique about this property is that it's not actually a warehouse building or a retail building, it's a mill. This mill is what New Prague was built around. 100 years ago when they built it, it provided employment, and the entire town was built based on this mill. The mill has 1 million square feet of capacity for grain storage. It provided a lot of jobs, employment for the local community. But it's such an old mill that it kind of lost its utility, and the company that owned it wanted to shut it down. And so here we are, 2020, a broker calls me and says, look, would you like to buy a 200,000 square foot property for $2 million? $10 a foot. On the surface, looked great. He says, it's a mill in New Prague. I said, no, I own a property right smack next to it. It's called Braz Hotel. And I've been with that property for now 5 years. So it immediately sparked my attention. This is the mill we bought. It's located on Main Street of the city of New Prague, and it's an absolute behemoth. This is Bill. He's awesome.
How are you?
Bill is a pilot. He's gonna fly us to different towns. All right, let's go. What's up, Rick? How you doing? Nice to see you. Thanks for doing all the hard work.
Oh, you bet.
When we bought the building, this whole thing was filled with seller's stuff, and we slowly had to get rid of it, sell it, and there's just tons of equipment here. It was filled. All of this stuff now is our tenants' merchandise. Most of the building is used as storage for many local entrepreneurs. I'll show you. We use blow-in insulation to insulate this. And so this right here is how they get stuff out of here. Otherwise it's heavy. So this forklift picks up stuff from here and brings it to the docks and takes it out. The asking price for the property was $2 million. I didn't want to pay $2 million for no old mill. For me, it was a demolition. There was demolition costs associated with it. So I figured I'll offer $500,000, and I thought I'm not going to get it. So when I made an offer, I didn't actually think we're going to get it. This is the jewel of wisdom. When you buy a property from a large institution and it's been on the market for a long time, don't worry about the price. They will give you a bigger discount if you understand that nobody else is going to buy it. And you can be very aggressive and ask them to give you a 75% or 90% discount. All they'll do is write it off. These rules don't apply to regular owners, but these large multinational corporations abide by a whole different set of rules. $500,000 offer submitted to this seller gets accepted without any comments. 200,000 square foot property for $500,000? All right. And then I got COVID. The first floor of the building is about 80,000 square feet of various space. And then every time I come there, I get overwhelmed by the amount of equipment they left in the property. We also had a Pakistani company come in and pick up a bunch of equipment and ship it to Pakistan. I guess there's a value to some of this equipment. It could be, salvaged and used by people in other countries. Originally, all these machines were powered by steam. And then when they converted it into power, they put 10 megawatts of power into the building. These steam machines were operated by these little cogs. We removed some of the equipment, and all the pipes are left. They're aluminum pipes, so they have some kind of scrap value. But before, it used to look like these machines were filled with it over here. One of the people that came opened a little supply house. We pick up a lot of leftover goods from Menards, Home Depot, and sell it. And slowly, that particular tenant started expanding from 2,000 square feet to 5,000, from 5,000 square feet to 10,000. And he kept taking more and more space. And that supply tenant essentially carried about $7,000 a month in rents before he left. Property comes with a 30,000 square foot warehouse, with 4 docks, actually 5 docks, and there's railroad on the other side. I've never had COVID before, obviously, so I lost my smell and taste. And of course, all the news were, people are dying everywhere. So I was like, man, you're gonna die now. I called the broker. I said, look, I don't think I'm gonna make it. I mean, I got this COVID thing. I'm gonna be insulated from my family in the basement. Cancel the deal, I don't wanna do it. My broker, Ryan, he didn't wanna lose the commission. He says, look, we worked on it. We've, everybody's excited. What if I said 200,000? Would you buy it for 200,000? And I thought at the time that if I offer them 200,000, they'll say, forget it, bounce, and keep it. So I said, well, if they want to offer it to us for 200,000, I'll take it. And you can remove the contingencies. I'll close on it for 200,000. 15 minutes later, I get a call from Ryan. He's super excited and says, congratulations, you're going to be the proud owner of a new Prague mill. It's like, oh my goodness, what did I do? Hello? How much did you want to invest? $2 million? Sure, you got it. I'll give you my wiring instructions. Thank you. That's how we do it. We found a tenant who wanted to put a gun range in there, which was a huge win. Owner who owns a gun store on Main Street turned out to be an amazing guy. And I talked to his banker, I talked to his investor, and he happened to be a perfect tenant for it.
Yeah, it's starting to...
We're going to meet with owner to discuss the possible sale of the property to them. It's going to be a very high stakes negotiation. This is our gun range. And so this is the wall for shooting? Or it's on the other side? Oh, this is the range right here. There will be 4 lanes here. On top of it, taxes were super high. There was a $5,000 a month electric bill that I had to pay every month because we can't shut it down. It has 10 megawatts of power. And so I'm carrying this thing at 12, maybe $13,000 a month after insurance and everything. And I was like, oh, you silly goose. You bought a property that has no value. You can't demo it because it costs $2 million. And now you're gonna pay $12,000 to $15,000 a month to carry this thing.
This is a diagram of the building of this portion of this side of the property.
First floor.
All of these colored areas are basically rented out. So the post office, which hasn't signed a lease yet, but has told us they're coming over there. And then this is retail, which we haven't done anything with yet. And the rail company is taking that portion. So pretty much the whole first floor will be taken pretty easily.
What is going to be our rent when it's full on the first floor?
Right now, well, when is it full? But right now we are thinking that we have $50,000 a month coming in, and our costs are about $20,000.
So we're making $30,000 cash flow if we cover all the expenses.
Yeah.
This is a very complex property, and there's so much going on here.
All right, so this is, you've seen this. This is the rails, and the rails will be all rented, and the idea is that they can take the trains all the way up to here. We don't know what to do with these silos, so we've been coming up with creative ideas on what to do with them. So in order to use any of this stuff, we have to have an elevator that goes in, right? So what we think we want to do is to build a building that ties the blue building and the 8-story building together, and there's a deal across the top of the silos with another building, so about in here somewhere. And then we want to build conceptual condos in the top floor. 2-story condos.
Circular condos?
Circular condos. So each one of these, if you put 4 of them together, is 1,200 square feet. 2 stories, 2,400 square foot condos. The structure's already built, right? No cost. So all you got to worry about is the remodeling cost. So it might be expensive to remodel, but I don't think it's anywhere close to what the cost is to build.
Don't you think you're crazy? How are people going to park? Where's the garages?
We're still working on that part of it. But I mean, this is our best idea so far. If you look around, their silos are being empty. Like Mankato just shut down their mill.
Because I don't need it.
Because they're just not being used. So we're stuck with silos. So the question is, what do you do with silos? So we're trying to find creative ways to do it, and the condos are kind of our
I guess that's the question. Do we do condos with the silos, or do we use it for something else? Okay. The easiest thing to do is to demo all of this, make it outside storage, and use it as outside storage for somebody. You know what I mean?
Perhaps. Well, let's figure out what the cost is.
Because it costs $2 million to take the whole thing down. If we could take this down for $500,000, it might make it worthwhile. And so while I was distressed about it, I figured first thing to do is just start getting stuff out and clean out each individual space. And as we clean the spaces, I put my sign prominently on the main street of New Prague, and I get calls and people want to take 5,000, 3,000 square feet. And eventually, within 6 to 12 months, we got to a point of breaking even on the property. In the meantime, I already spent $300,000 to clean up some spaces and remodel them a little bit. Ultimately, we found a bunch of tenants who took spaces, and to a point where I think we're generating about $30,000 cash flow from the building, and building is actually churning a profit. Now, we're eliminating the electric charge, we reduced the taxes, and slowly created a situation where the operating expenses are not as high as when we bought the property day one. So this right here is the tallest building in New Prague, and if you get on top of it, you can see Minneapolis skyline.
This is the building on top of the silos.
Yeah.
9 stories up. It's 16 by 200. Now the silos are 40 foot wide, all right? Now think about like a bar or restaurant or venue, 9 stories up with all these windows that you could do, and you could have a deck on the side that would look over the whole town. So
egress and ingress, that elevator is going to be used a lot for people to going up and down.
yeah, but now think about it. Okay, so if we could do the condos that I have, we're talking about an elevator building. Now, we have that 8-story building that's, what, 40 by 40, something like that? Not really even usable because there's really no good floors. It's not, you gotta have an elevator to get up there, whatever. If we can tie that into this building that I'm talking about, the building can add storage to it, and then you can use that whole building all the way up. By adding the space to it along with the elevator.
Why can't we condos all the way down to like a second floor? Because nobody wants to live on the first floor, but second, third, fourth, maybe we can put, now you're talking 20 condos versus 4.
You're correct. However, we're talking New Prague.
Well, this is the founder of the company who put up the first structure in 1872. His son, Junior, took over the company, and his grandson is actually part of the company. And his great-grandson still runs the Athwin Foundation.
This group of fine individuals in 1924 ran this facility and supplied milled grain and turned into flour and fed this community, provided jobs and opportunity. This is what it used to look like back in the day. It's been completely rebuilt. This is the original building, and there's a second building right here. So the moral of the story in this particular case is to always understand the expandability of each individual asset. Know how can this asset serve the community in the best shape possible, in the best form possible, and what are the costs associated with adaptively reusing the space so that it serves the community where it's located. And I think in this case we found multiple uses, and we're still scratching the surface of the building. I think all in all, because we bought the property at such low basis, and because community needs this type of product, there is an opportunity to make money here. And for those of you who see and drive by these ugly properties on a daily basis, always ask yourself, what could happen to this property for it to become a cash flowing asset? You can ask the municipalities, you can call Chamber of Commerce, and taking something that nobody wants, converting it into something that everybody else wants, is where the magic, transformation, and the art of the deal is in this particular case. And I really hope that you guys will extract a small lesson from my experiences and be able to use it for your own knowledge experience to create a better lifestyle and cash flow for yourself by improving the communities where you live. This is the original mill section. This is a 5-story building, and this space was all full of equipment. I'll show you upstairs. So this is where the milling equipment is, right?
This is the drive shafts that came from the drive at the other end of the building that powered the machines upstairs.
By 400 horsepower engines, right?
Yep.
That are electric. When I first bought this building, I was so overwhelmed by the amount of equipment and stuff that's going on here. So, but how do you eat an elephant? One spoon at a time. It might take 10 years, but that's what it's been. This has been an elephant. This would be a cool setting to shoot some sort of a horror movie or some kind of an interesting action thriller, because you've got so much going on, so many different colors, so many different contraptions, And I can totally imagine how people keep fighting here and whatnot. So if anybody's interested in shooting a movie here, please let me know. DM me. Love to welcome you guys here. There's 4 floors of this equipment, and all of it served a purpose. Some of it is stainless steel. I'm sure there's some kind of residual value to this equipment. I just don't know what to do with it. All this was built to convert grain into flour. Some of the equipment has been removed already. We got a bid from a crane company to crane some of this equipment out. They want $57,000 to remove the property, to remove the equipment off the property. It costs more to remove them than to scrap it. So that's the challenge with the building. Look at this. Carter Day. This looks like a new equipment right here. This is an elevator. Does it work?
Yes, but it's just a cable and a basket.
Each individual floor is shorter than the one above it. That's a very interesting style of construction. All this milling equipment sitting here looking for the users. So the magic of this whole thing is, how do you buy something like this and then make it into a cash flowing asset? You have to be crazy to do that. I guess we're crazy enough to take on the project. So far, we're net positive. We'll see what happens in the end. A deal like this, if you can pick up with $200,000 and you can actually be as successful in it as we have been, it can change your life forever. This one building can feed your family for generations. You know what I mean? Practically.
Getting there.
Yeah, so far, we haven't seen any money yet, but it's been a lot of work. Most of the time, you think about commercial real estate investing as if you're just driving Ferraris and flying jets. But most of the time, you have to deal with solving problems like getting rid of this equipment and putting a tenant in here and painting this whole place. That's really where the work is. All you see sometimes is just the results, but this is the inputs right here. We have one more floor. Come on, let's go. This floor has vaulted ceilings. It's our penthouse unit. By the way, you ain't seen nothing yet. Look out the window. What do you think? Was it a crazy investment? Somebody tried to steal it. They couldn't take it with them. It's too heavy. This is a bin room. Let's go. This used to be a boiler room. We want to put a brewery in here, or a distillery. Look at the ceiling heights here. This is a super, super awesome room. This is how they used to heat this space. It's an old school boiler. It's a coal boiler. They would throw coal in there and it would heat all these pipes, and then the steam would go up, right? Yep. This is definitely a braid that's going to be turned into a diamond, although it's never going to sparkle. But from a cash flow standpoint, I think it's going to work. My expectations for this project were to demolish the project and redevelop it. I thought to myself it will be an apartment complex or townhouse community, but it turned into this mixed-use facility with a range, storage facility, a post office, etc. Challenges with buying properties that are older is code compliance mainly, because everything is 100 years old. If you do any kind of a meaningful remodel, you have to bring everything up to code. You got to be extremely careful when you buy properties that are very old in how it works with code compliance. For example, the elevator here works, but you cannot use it because it doesn't comply with codes. That's a $350,000 ticket. One of the things we're thinking about is to subdivide the building into multiple parcels. Maybe demolish parts of it, but keep some parts of the building. And that's how I think in the end, the building will be partly demolished and redeveloped into some kind of a new housing project or a retail property. And the back of the property will probably remain because our tenants are putting so much money into it. And very likely the tenant will end up buying it and we'll just give them a great deal. What do you guys think about this property? Would you like to invest in something like this? Or if you have invested in something like this, DM me. I'll give you some secrets of how to redevelop and how to work with the city. Please comment below. I'd like to respond to every one of your inquiries to really get an idea what you think about this. If you think it's awesome, if you think it's crazy, or if you think it's mad. By the way, if somebody calls me and says, I'd like to buy the equipment, I'll be so happy we made this video.